Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King. I don't know why I'm doing that. Ha 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 ha. And today I've got not just Kung Fu, but I've got a convention report. Kind of. It's an unusual convention report. I didn't get any video, and I barely got any back issues for reasons that will become apparent as I talk about this. But last week, as I'm recording this, a few weeks ago now for the rest of you, I had a chance to table at Plastic City Comic Con in Fitchburg, Mass. Now, for those of you who are from the area, that may sound a little weird because Plastic City is Leominster. Leominster and Fitchburg are our little twin cities here in Massachusetts. Basically, it started in Leominster and it outgrew the venues available in Leominster, so now it's in Fitchburg. And it's got an all-new venue this year. And it's one of my favorite shows because it's kind of like a mid-major. It's bigger than your little library shows, but it's not as big as like a Boston or a Terrificon. It's a good mid-sized show, and the focus is all comics. So, like, there's tons of indie comic creators like me, back issue dealers. That's pretty much it. There's a few like crafty people, selling like the foam swords, like that sort of thing, or whatever, which my wife loves. But for the most part, it's just all comics. So it's a great place to go as a fan. It's also a great place to have a table as an indie comic creator. The show is run by Keith Gleason, and Keith is a comic creator himself. He has a series called Mighty Mascots, which I think I've showed before, and that's about a group of cereal box mascots that get brought to life and become a team of superheroes. So it's a lot of fun, and since he's an indie comic creator himself, he sort of built this convention around the indie comics community and the back issue dealers, and so there's always cool stuff. So we tabled last year, and it was a good show, but the venue was a little wonky. It was like incredibly hot in the morning, and it was hard to load in and out. So they moved to a new venue, which was absolutely great. And so I have to say, like, everything about the show went off great, except for one thing. And the one thing is, show started at 10, and about 12:30, my wife said she had seen some romance comics at a dealer. So I went over to take a look, and as I was walking over there, I suddenly got incredibly dizzy. Like, it wasn't a room spinning, but I just felt like everything was off balance, and as I was trying to walk back to the table, like I just had to be really careful because I thought I was going to go down. I thought maybe I just hadn't had enough to eat or drink or something, but I had a bunch to eat and drink, and it didn't go away. It just started getting worse. So we ended up going to urgent care, and they wanted me to go to the ER, and so I had to go to the ER. And basically, I missed the rest of the show. So I missed the last, like, 4.5 hours of the show. I only got to about a third of the tables. I didn't even see most of the room. I didn't get to see any of the back issues. I didn't get to see any of my fellow indie comic creators, like any of that. I didn't get to see anyone that was coming to my table. So I'll talk a little bit in a minute, but I only sold one comic. Right as I was leaving, I had people come up that were interested in buying stuff, but I had to go, and I thought I was going to be back, but they didn't let me out of the ER until 9 o'clock. So while I was at the ER, I had to send my wife back to the convention so she could get the stuff. I'm fine. By the way, I'm fine. Everything's fine. When I was on vacation, I had some swimmer's ear, and didn't have any vertigo or anything during that, but I had just finished like the drops for like 4 days before the show. So basically and the night before the show, I started getting a ringing in my ear, which I still have now as I'm recording this. And so they basically said, nothing dangerous, but the ear infection that I had, something got screwed up and it popped loose while I was at the show. So I'm fine, but it was super disappointing. I didn't come close to making tables, so I lost a bunch of money. Plus, I just lost not just the sales, but what the sales mean, like new people reading the comics and all of that stuff. So it was really disappointing. I was really disappointed not to see any more of the dealers, because there was a lot of cool dealers there. So it was a bummer. Now, the time I was at the show was great. So I do want to say that I was visited by one of you. Yes, in my videos, I always try and say when I'm going to be at conventions or whatever, and I always invite people to come out to the conventions. And one of you came, Brad Bisanker. Thanks so much for showing up. Brad came. He bought one of my comics, the 100-page giant Crime Buster 80th anniversary special, a couple magnets. And we talked for 20 minutes or so about back issues and about YouTube, and it was really exciting. I've said this before, but when I started doing these videos, I didn't think anyone was going to watch them. And he said he came to the show just to see me, so that was awesome. So thank you so much, Brad. It really was definitely the highlight of my day. It was as soon as Brad left the table, I went to look for those romance comics, and I was in the ER for the rest of the day. So I'm very much telling the truth, Brad, when I say that that was the high point of my day. Everything after you left was downhill for me. So thank you so much. It was really great to meet you. So I guess this is a good time while you're watching this, all of you. I've got 2 more shows coming up. I mentioned this, I think, in some of my previous videos, but I finally got accepted into MICE. That's the Massachusetts Independent Comics Expo. It's one of the biggest independent comic creator shows in the country. And I go every year. It's incredibly inspirational. There's so many great dealers, and every year I apply, and every year I get rejected, and it's a big bummer because it is like a curated show. So it's not like you're losing a lottery. They're specifically choosing not to have you. So I've been very discouraged in the past about MICE, but they finally I got into MICE. So I'm going to be at MICE this year. It's September 30th and October 1st, Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be there both days, assuming, I don't get struck by lightning or something else. So come on down and see me. And then Athol Mass is having their second Comic-Con. I was at the inaugural one last year. That's run by the people at Hero Shack, Chris and Diana, independent comic creators like me. He does the Cyclopean, which I've shown on here before. They organized this really cool show in conjunction with the Athol Library last year, and that's happening again this year. And I think that's a Saturday, October 14th, if I remember correct. So come to Athol. I'll be there as well. Those are my last 2 shows for the year. So if you missed me at Leominster, I know some of the other creators that were going to be buying my book at Leominster, and they were like, "I'll come back to your table later and get that," and then I wasn't there. But I know I'll be seeing some of them at Athol. So come on down to either of those shows, and hopefully I'll be there. But so Leominster, I was there for a couple hours. I did get to go around to a couple things. I didn't get any indie books. I love supporting my fellow artists on Artist Alley, but I'd only gotten to see a few of their booths before I went down. But I did get a couple back issues, a couple cool dealers. So one of them had some cool stuff in the 50-cent bins. And one of these you may be seeing. I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't quite decided. You can let me know what you think. In the Dollar Bin Trading Challenge, it's a little unusual, but it's this. It's a trade paperback. It's Sandman, The Kindly Ones. Now, this is volume 12, I think? Not 100% sure, but I think it might be volume 12. It reprints Sandman's 57 through 69, so I think it's the next to last volume. It's in pretty good shape, except for the front corner here got bent. So I'm in the process of trying to bend it. It does have a little corner crease. This was in a 50-cent box. So they were 50 cents each. So I got this, the regular price on it is $20. I paid 50 cents for it. Great deal. May have it in the trading challenge later. I don't know. I haven't done anything like this in the trading challenge, so I'm not really sure. The other thing that I got for 50 cents is a book that's going to go in my dollar bin for later. Maybe down the road will be worth something. I have a couple of these recently that I've gotten. At the last convention I was at, I got Power Pack 62, the last issue of Power Pack. And sometimes the last issue of those series are worth quite a bit because, of course, they're the hardest to find because the print run is low. That's why they got canceled, blah, blah, blah. Power Pack is a series that I guess just for whatever reason there aren't enough people collecting yet. So that issue's not really worth anything yet, but that's gone in my dollar bin box for later. If at any point something hits, I think that could go up. Same for this one. I was a little surprised that this actually isn't worth anything because I know there's people that collect this run, but for 50 cents, I couldn't pass it up. It's JSA number 87, the last issue of the JSA run. Cover date is September 06. Hard to believe, but that's 17 years ago now. So it's getting down there. They actually had it's got a little bit of a ding. It's tiniest little pull at one staple, but otherwise it's in perfect shape. And they had like a lot, probably 30 issues in there for 50 cents each. Mostly later issues. But I noticed, it does say Final Fight on it. It's got the picture from All-Star 3, the first Justice Society. So I had a sense that it was the last issue, but also there's just I try and remember what the last issue numbers were of some of these titles. So I picked this up, again, 50 cents. Currently, still not worth anything, even though it's a last issue and presumably harder to find than the rest of the JSA run. And I know there's people that collect JSA. So I'm hoping at some point in the future, that'll go up when it gets up to, 15 bucks or so. We'll have it in the Dollar Bin Trading Challenge, but who knows? I've got a whole box of stuff that's not real, that's books that are worth like $5 to $10. Not really worth it in terms of trading just yet, but I think down the road some of them will pop, and then it'd be nice to have them for the trading challenge. Now there's another dealer who had all these $3 bins, and so these are not going to be the trading challenge, but some of the stuff in there for $3 I just couldn't pass up, even though it's not in my wheelhouse. So wait till you see this stuff. I know some of you are going to love it. 10 cents, 10-cent cover, $3. What could it be? It's Unknown Worlds, number 9 from ACG. Yes, I love ACG books. And even though I don't really collect the sci-fi books or the horror books, I just couldn't pass up $3 ACGs. Well, I say that. I did pass up a couple that were really beat up. But, this is, it's got a little spine split at the bottom, but it's a solid low-grade book. And again, 10 cents. It's a little musty, so we're going to put that away. But I got some others. They had a whole bunch of them, actually. These other ones are 12 cents. So that was Unknown Worlds number 9. And then we got Unknown Worlds number 17. And number 22. This is the lowest grade of them. It's got spine splits at the bottom top and some extra staples added. But I also got Adventures into the Unknown, number 155, which is an issue of one of the superhero issues with Nemesis. These, just terrible costumes. Utterly bizarre and stupid superheroes. I don't know. But I love ACG. And again, it's a solid lower grade book. 4, maybe a 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 to 4. Little tear at the top staple. $3. I mean, come on, guys. So I got those, again, $3 each. And then I went through their back issue bins. And I found this for $4. Not easy to find. We've talked about this before. It's the Sundance Kid, number 3 from Skywald. There's the $4 sticker on it. These are all, most things from Skywald, or all things from Skywald. It's like a square bound 25-cent issue. And it's 4.5, probably. Yeah, I'd love to call it a 5, but I'm not sure I can get it up that high. But maybe a 5. Let's just pretend. But yeah, these are really hard to find for $4 for a solid Skywald. Again, had to buy it. So it's just cool, man. These books are just cool. So, you know, again, I only got to see probably a third of the dealers, but considering that I only went to a third of the dealers, I mean, I got some really cool stuff. You know, 4 ACG books for $3 each. That Skywald. This is super cool for somebody. And again, 50 cents for a Sandman trade is kind of crazy. So I was very happy with what I got. I just like after I got these, and I'm like, man, I still have all like the whole. I could see all those back issue dealers. I'm like, I'm gonna walk away from this show with so much cool stuff, and this is all I ended up with because I got sick. So, what are you gonna do? But there's always next year. There's always more shows. There's always more stores. So hopefully we'll get out there and get some cool stuff soon. But for now, that's it. Let me know what you think down below. Come see me, Mice Athol, September 39, October 1st, October 14th, and I'll see you there.